The Art Director's Debrief. The Three Musketeers, number 13, Eavesdropping on an Assassination. Hello, and welcome back to the Emotive archive. We left our heroes fully equipped and united, ready to face the dangers of war. In the chapters we will declassify today, 41, 42, and 43, the grand theater of the Siege of La Rochelle becomes the backdrop for a far more intimate and deadly form of conflict. The story pivots from the preparations for war to the practice of it, but not in the way one might expect. The most significant battle in this section is not fought with cannons and muskets on the battlefield, but is waged with poison and whispers within the walls of a quiet country inn. This is a masterclass of suspense, a descent into the dark heart of the Cardinal's network, where our heroes, by a stroke of fate, become privy to a secret that will change the course of European history. The section opens by establishing the setting, the military camp at the Siege of La Rochelle. Dumas brilliantly captures the strange mixture of boredom and danger that defines life on a campaign. The war is a slow, grinding affair, and our heroes, men of action, are frustrated. This atmosphere of ennui is crucial. It is what drives them to seek a moment of peace and a decent meal at the seemingly innocuous Red Dovecote Inn. Their journey to the inn is not just a quest for food, it is an escape from the tedium of war, a search for a small pocket of normalcy in a world of chaos. This seemingly random decision is the catalyst for the entire sequence of events. It is a classic narrative device, a chance happening that leads to a fateful encounter. The first sign that something is amiss is the Anjou wine. The innkeeper, with a nervous and shifty demeanor, presents them with 2 bottles of exquisite wine, a luxury far beyond what one would expect in such a place. This is the first clue, the first anomaly that alerts the sharp mind of Athos. While Porthos is ready to indulge and D'Artagnan is unsuspecting, Athos, the seasoned veteran, immediately senses a trap. His tasting of the wine and his immediate violent reaction is not just the action of a connoisseur, it is the instinct of a master spy who has learned to be suspicious of anything that is too good to be true. His quick thinking, his realization that this is the work of Milady, saves the life of their companion, Biccarat. This incident is a chilling reminder of the threat they are under. The enemy is not just on the battlefield, she is everywhere. Her weapon is not a bottle of wine. She is waging a war of assassination, a campaign of terror that operates outside all known rules of engagement. This failed assassination attempt sets the stage for the main event, the secret meeting at the inn. The arrival of the Cardinal himself in person at this remote location signals that a matter of the utmost importance is about to be discussed. The detail of the broken stovepipe, another stroke of narrative genius by Dumas, transforms our heroes from simple soldiers into unwilling spies. They become eavesdroppers on a conversation of state. This is a classic espionage trope. The heroes, hidden in plain sight, accidentally overhearing the villain's master plan. The tension is palpable. They are trapped in the room below, forced to be silent witnesses to a conversation that could get them all killed if they are discovered. The conversation they overhear is the very heart of the novel's political intrigue. We listen as Milady de Winter reports the failure of her previous missions and, more importantly, we hear the Cardinal give her a new, terrifying assignment. He tasks her with traveling to England to ensure that the Duke of Buckingham is neutralized, either by preventing him from sending aid to the besieged Protestants of La Rochelle or, if necessary, by assassinating him. And to facilitate this mission, he gives her the ultimate tool of a shadow state, a carte blanche, a letter signed by the Cardinal himself that grants her a blanket pardon for any and all actions she takes in the service of the state. This is a license to kill. It is a document that places her above the law, transforming her from a simple criminal into an instrument of raison d'etat, the principle that the state's interest transcends all other moral and legal considerations. The Musketeers have just become witnesses to the planning of a state-sponsored political assassination, a secret that is both a powerful weapon and a deadly burden. Now that we have anathematized the events of these tense chapters, let us elevate our analysis and explore their deeper historical and artistic significance. The Siege of La Rochelle was a real and pivotal event in French history, a brutal conflict between the Catholic royal forces and the Protestant Huguenots. By placing his fictional heroes in the middle of this very real war, Dumas grounds his romantic adventure in a bedrock of historical fact, blurring the line between fiction and secret history. The inn, the Red Dovecote, becomes a microcosm of the entire conflict, a seemingly neutral space that is in fact a hotbed of espionage, a front for covert operations, a location where the real, secret war is being fought. The eavesdropping scene is a masterpiece of the suspense genre. From an artistic perspective, it is a study in claustrophobia and forced intimacy. Our heroes are trapped, their movements restricted, their only weapon their ability to listen. The broken stovepipe is a brilliant physical metaphor for a leaked piece of information, a flaw in the enemy's operational security that allows our heroes to gain a critical advantage. This technique, the hero accidentally gaining access to the villain's plan, is a cornerstone of the thriller genre. It creates a powerful dramatic irony. We, the audience, and the heroes now know the villain's next move, and the rest of the story is driven by the desperate attempt to prevent it. Let us deconstruct the carte blanche that the Cardinal gives to Milady. This license to kill is a fascinating and terrifying concept, both historically and fictionally. It represents the ultimate expression of state power, the moment when the state claims the right to operate outside of its own laws in the name of a higher purpose. It is a moral blank check. This concept would become a central trope in 20th century spy fiction, most famously with James Bond's 00 status. But Dumas, writing a century earlier, already understood its dramatic power. The carte blanche transforms Milady from a simple antagonist into something far more frightening, a state-sanctioned demon, an agent who can commit any crime without consequence. This document is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card, and it makes her a nearly unstoppable force. The moral dilemma this creates for our heroes is profound. They are men of honor, sworn to uphold the law and serve the king. But they now possess information about a plot orchestrated by the most powerful man in the kingdom, a plot that is, in its own twisted way, in the interest of the French state's war effort. How can they stop an assassination when the assassin has a pardon from the state itself? They cannot go to the authorities, because the authorities are the ones who sanctioned the crime. This forces them to operate outside the law themselves. To fight the Cardinal's shadow state, they must form their own. The Council of the Musketeers, which takes place in the following chapters, is the direct result of this dilemma. They must become their own judges, their own court, because the official courts are compromised. The hunt for Milady is no longer just a mission to save Buckingham. It is a moral crusade to stop an agent who has been placed above morality itself. Finally, let us analyze the contrast in methods. The Musketeers, as men of the sword, believe in open combat, in duels of honor. Milady and the Cardinal, as men of the robe, believe in the efficiency of deception and assassination. The poisoned wine incident is the perfect symbol of this clash. It is an ungentleman's way to fight, a violation of all codes of honorable warfare. This is a central theme in the novel, the struggle between a fading, chivalric code of personal honor and the rise of a modern, impersonal, and ruthless form of state power. The Musketeers are romantic relics, knights errant in a world that is increasingly being run by pragmatic, cynical politicians and spies. Their struggle is not just to save the queen or the duke, but to preserve their own code of honor in a world that no longer seems to value it. These chapters at the Red Dovecote Inn are the moment they fully realize the true nature of the game they are in. It is not a game of honorable duels, but a dirty, brutal shadow war, and to win it, they may have to become as ruthless as their enemies. Thank you for joining me in the Emotive Archive.